I stared at Marcus Hartwell across his pristine desk. The new regional manager had been on the job exactly 3 weeks. His tie was perfectly knotted, his smile was perfectly cold. "But my satisfaction rate is 99%, I whispered. "Company restructuring, Alex." He shuffled papers without looking at me. "We're going in a different direction." My name is Alex Thompson. I'd worked customer service at Pinnacle Solutions for 8 years. 8 years of perfect reviews. 8 years of clients specifically requesting me. 8 years of building something I thought mattered. The coffee mug in my hands trembled. The same mug I'd used every morning for nearly a decade. Steam rose between us like a barrier I couldn't cross. "This doesn't make sense, Marcus." "It's Mr. Hartwell." His eyes finally met mine. "Security will escort you out. Clean out your desk." The fluorescent lights buzzed overhead. The familiar hum that had been the soundtrack to my career suddenly sounded like a death rattle. My coworkers pretended to focus on their screens, but I felt their stares burning into my back. 20 minutes later, I stood in the parking lot clutching a cardboard box. Inside were 8 years of memories. A plant from my first client, thank you cards, a photo of last year's team celebration. My phone buzzed. A text from my colleague Rita. "What the hell just happened?" I had no answer. No explanation, no warning signs I'd missed. The drive home blurred past in a haze of disbelief. How do you explain to your family that your perfect record meant nothing, that loyalty was just a word on motivational posters? My wife Emma was waiting at the kitchen table when I walked in. She took one look at my face and knew. "They let you go?" I nodded. The box hit the counter with a hollow thud. "But your numbers don't matter anymore." The words tasted bitter. New management, new direction. Emma wrapped her arms around me. For the first time since leaving the office, I felt something other than shock. Anger started bubbling up from somewhere deep in my chest. "We'll figure this out," she whispered. But figuring it out meant more than finding another job. It meant understanding why Marcus Hartwell had targeted me specifically. Because that's what this was. A targeting. 3 days later, the phone calls started. "Alex, this is Margaret Chen from Morrison Industries." Her voice was strained. "I just tried calling Pinnacle Solutions. They told me you no longer work there." Margaret had been my client for 5 years. I'd helped her company through 2 major software transitions and countless smaller crises. She trusted me completely. "That's correct, Margaret. I was let go last Tuesday." "Let go? But you're the only one there who actually knows our account. Who am I supposed to work with now?" "They'll assign someone new. I'm sure they'll take good care of you." Even as I said it, I knew it wasn't true. The silence stretched between us. Finally, Margaret spoke again. "This is unacceptable. I'm calling my account manager immediately." She hung up. Within an hour, my phone rang again. "Alex Thompson, this is David Kim from TechStart Solutions." Another client, another confused voice asking the same questions. By the end of the week, I'd heard from 12 different companies, all asking why I was gone, all expressing frustration with their new service representatives. The pattern became clear quickly. Marcus had assigned my biggest accounts to junior staff members, people with good intentions but no experience with complex technical issues, no relationship history, no understanding of each client's unique needs. Rita called me on Friday evening. "Alex, it's chaos here. Absolute chaos." "What do you mean?" "Your old clients are furious. Morrison Industries is threatening to cancel their contract. TechStart already pulled 2 projects. Marcus is running around like his hair's on fire." A dark satisfaction crept through me. What's he saying about it? That you were overpaid and underproductive. That fresh blood will improve efficiency. Rita's voice dropped to a whisper. "But Alex, the new kids don't know what they're doing. I'm trying to help, but I've got my own accounts to manage." After she hung up, I sat in my home office staring at my computer screen. The cursor blinked in an empty document. I'd started writing my resume a dozen times but couldn't find the words to describe what had happened. How do you explain being fired for excellence? Emma found me there at midnight. You need to sleep. I need to understand. I turned to face her. Marcus knew my numbers. He knew my client relationships. So why get rid of me? Maybe he felt threatened? The thought had occurred to me. Marcus was young, ambitious, and clearly insecure. Maybe having a veteran employee with perfect metrics made him look bad by comparison. Or maybe he had someone specific in mind for my position. Emma raised an eyebrow. Like who? I don't know yet, but I'm going to find out. Monday morning brought another wave of calls. This time, the voices were angrier. Alex, this is completely unacceptable. Margaret's tone was ice cold. The new representative they assigned me doesn't even know our system requirements. I've explained our setup 3 times, and he keeps suggesting solutions we tried 2 years ago. I'm sorry, Margaret. I wish I could help. You can. I want to hire you directly as a consultant. The offer hit me like lightning. I'm not sure that's possible. There might be non-compete clauses. I don't care about their clauses. They broke their commitment to me when they fired you without warning. After Margaret hung up, I pulled out my old employment contract. The non-compete section was surprisingly narrow. It prevented me from working for direct competitors, but said nothing about independent consulting. My phone rang again. David Kim this time. Alex, I need your help. The new guy they assigned me just suggested we completely rebuild our database, the same database you helped us optimize 6 months ago. David, I'll pay you double whatever Pinnacle was charging, triple if necessary. By Wednesday, I had 5 consulting offers on the table, 5 major clients willing to leave Pinnacle Solutions to work with me directly. The irony was delicious. Marcus had fired me to improve efficiency. Instead, he'd created his own worst nightmare. But I wasn't ready to make my move yet. I needed more information. I needed to understand his real motivations. Rita provided the missing piece on Thursday. Alex, you're not going to believe this. Her voice was breathless with excitement. I figured out why Marcus fired you. Tell me? His nephew. Marcus hired his nephew to take over your accounts. Kids fresh out of college with 0 experience. Marcus has been bragging about giving him a fast track to success by inheriting established client relationships. The puzzle pieces clicked into place. This wasn't about performance or efficiency. It was nepotism, pure and simple. Marcus had fired the best customer service representative in the company to make room for his unqualified relative. What's the nephew's name? Tyler Hartwell. And Alex? He's drowning, completely in over his head. Good. That evening, I made my decision. I called Margaret back. I'll take your consulting offer, but I have conditions. Name them. I want a written statement about why you're leaving Pinnacle Solutions. I want you to be specific about the quality difference between my service and theirs. Done. What else? I want you to recommend me to other companies in your network. Companies that might be frustrated with their current customer service providers. Margaret laughed. Alex, I've been singing your praises for years. Half the businesses in this city know your name already. Perfect. Let's make this official. Within 2 weeks, I had my own consulting business, Thompson Customer Solutions. 8 clients had followed me from Pinnacle, and word was spreading fast. The best part? I was charging triple what Pinnacle had been billing for my services, and clients were happy to pay it. Marcus started calling on the 3rd week. Alex, this is Marcus Hartwell. We need to talk. About what? I think there's been a misunderstanding. Some of our clients are claiming you're providing unauthorized services. There's no misunderstanding, Marcus. I'm running my own business now, completely legal and above board. You can't just steal our clients? I didn't steal anyone. They chose to leave because they weren't satisfied with their new service representative. I paused for effect. How's Tyler working out, by the way? The silence stretched for 10 seconds. I don't know what you're talking about. Your nephew, Marcus, the college kid you hired to replace me, the one who's been tanking every account he touches. You need to stop interfering with our business relationships. I'm not interfering with anything. I'm providing superior customer service to companies that demand it. If that's a problem for Pinnacle, maybe you should examine your own practices. He hung up without another word. But Marcus wasn't finished. 2 days later, I received a cease and desist letter from Pinnacle's legal department. They claimed I was violating my non-compete agreement and engaging in predatory business practices. I forwarded the letter to the employment attorney Emma had found for me. "This is garbage," she told me over the phone. "They have no legal standing whatsoever. Your consulting work doesn't violate any clause in your contract." "So, I can ignore it?" "Not only can you ignore it, I think we should respond aggressively. They're trying to intimidate you with baseless legal threats. That's actionable." "What do you mean?" "I mean we can sue them for harassment and restraint of trade, especially if we can prove they fired you without cause to make room for the nephew." The legal threat backfired spectacularly. Instead of scaring me away, it gave me ammunition for a counterattack. But I didn't need lawyers to destroy Marcus Hartwell. He was doing it himself. Rita kept me updated on the chaos at Pinnacle Solutions. 3 more accounts canceled this week, she reported during one of our coffee meetings. Tyler had a complete meltdown with the Peterson group, started crying when they asked him technical questions he couldn't answer. What's Marcus saying? That it's growing pains, that Tyler just needs more time to find his footing. Rita shook her head. But the damage is spreading. Other clients are hearing about the service problems. Some are asking for different representatives. How's company morale? Terrible. Everyone knows Tyler only got the job because he's Marcus's nephew, and everyone knows you were fired to make room for him. People are talking about leaving. Anyone actually quit yet? 2 people last week, and I heard Marcus is under review by corporate. Apparently, the regional office is asking questions about the client exodus. Perfect. Marcus had created his own downfall by prioritizing family over competence. Now the consequences were catching up with him. My business continued growing. By the end of month 2, I had 15 clients and a waiting list. I hired my first employee, a talented young woman named Jessica, who'd been laid off from a competitor. "I can't believe how different this is," she told me after her first week. "At my old job, everything was about metrics and call times. Here, we actually solve problems." "That's the difference between customer service and customer care," I explained. "Service is transactional. Care is relational." It was a philosophy I'd developed over years of working with difficult clients. Take time to understand their real needs. Build trust through consistency. Deliver solutions that actually work. Marcus had thrown all of that away for the sake of nepotism. Now he was learning why relationships matter in business. The breaking point came in month 3. Rita called me on a Tuesday morning, barely able to contain her excitement. "Alex, you need to hear this. Morrison Industries just canceled their entire contract with Pinnacle. Margaret told Marcus exactly why in a conference call yesterday." "What did she say?" "That Pinnacle had broken faith by firing their best representative without notice, that the replacement was incompetent and unprofessional, and that any company prioritizing nepotism over competence didn't deserve their business." "How did Marcus respond?" "He tried to blame you, said you'd been sabotaging Tyler's work and poisoning client relationships." "That's ridiculous." Margaret destroyed him. She said, and I quote, "Mr. Hartwell, Alex Thompson never said a single negative word about your company or your nephew. He didn't need to. Your nephew's incompetence spoke for itself." I had to admire Margaret's directness. She'd always been straightforward in her business dealings, but this was particularly brutal. What happened next? Marcus started yelling, accused Margaret of breach of contract and threatened legal action. She hung up on him. And within 2 hours, 3 other major clients had called to cancel their contracts. Word spreads fast in this industry, Alex. Nobody wants to work with a company that threatens customers for giving honest feedback. The dominoes were falling exactly as I'd hoped they would. Marcus had created a reputation crisis through his own poor decisions. I hadn't needed to sabotage anything. I'd simply provided an alternative that highlighted Pinnacle's declining standards. That afternoon, I received an unexpected call. "Alex Thompson, this is Jennifer Walsh from Pinnacle's corporate office." My pulse quickened. Jennifer was Marcus's boss, the regional director who'd hired him 3 months ago. "Hello, Jennifer. What can I do for you?" "I was hoping we could meet for coffee. I'd like to discuss the situation between you and our local office." "What situation is that?" "I think you know exactly what situation I'm referring to. We've lost 7 major accounts in the past month. All of them cited service quality issues, and all of them are now working with your consulting firm." "I see. Can we meet tomorrow? I promise this isn't a confrontational conversation. I genuinely want to understand what happened." I agreed to meet her at a neutral location downtown. This could be interesting. Jennifer Walsh was nothing like Marcus. Where he was slick and corporate, she was direct and unpretentious. She ordered black coffee and got straight to the point. "Tell me why you were fired." "Marcus said it was company restructuring, that you were going in a different direction." "That's not what I authorized. I told Marcus he could reorganize his team to improve efficiency. I never told him to fire our best performer." "So you didn't know about my termination?" "Not until clients started calling corporate to complain. That's when I dug into the personnel files and discovered what had happened." Jennifer leaned forward. "Alex, your performance reviews are exceptional. 8 years of perfect ratings, client satisfaction scores in the 99th percentile. Why would any manager get rid of someone like that?" I could have told her about Tyler, about the nepotism and the cover-up, but I wanted to see how much she already knew. "You'd have to ask Marcus." I did. He claims you were undermining company culture and encouraging client dependency on individual representatives rather than company systems. "What do you think about that explanation?" Jennifer smiled grimly. "I think it's corporate bullshit designed to cover up a serious mistake." "What kind of mistake?" "The kind where a manager prioritizes personal relationships over business judgment." She paused. "I know about Tyler, Alex. I know he's Marcus's nephew, and I know he was hired immediately after your termination to take over your accounts." There it was. Jennifer had done her homework. "What are you going to do about it?" "That depends partly on you. I want to make this right, but I need your help." "What kind of help?" "I want you to come back. Full reinstatement with back pay, plus a promotion to senior account manager with oversight of the customer service department." The offer hung in the air between us. 3 months ago, I would have jumped at the chance for that kind of promotion. Now it felt like a step backward. "What about Marcus?" "Marcus is being transferred to a different region, effective immediately." "And Tyler?" "Tyler's employment will be terminated. His performance record speaks for itself." I sipped my coffee and considered the offer. It was generous, fair, everything I might have wanted when Marcus first fired me. But I wasn't the same person who'd been escorted out of that building 3 months ago. "Jennifer, I appreciate the offer. I really do. But I'm not interested in coming back." Her eyebrows shot up. "Why not?" "Because I've learned something important about myself. I'm better at running my own business than working for someone else." "But think about the security, the benefits, the career advancement opportunities." "I've thought about all of that. And I've realized that security isn't worth much if it can be taken away by one bad manager. At least when I'm working for myself, I control my own destiny." Jennifer nodded slowly. "I can understand that perspective. But what about our clients? The ones who are struggling with service quality issues? What about them? Would you consider a consulting contract? Let us outsource some of our customer service work to your firm?" Now that was interesting. Instead of rejoining Pinnacle as an employee, I could work with them as an equal partner. "Tell me more." "We're clearly struggling to maintain service quality across all our accounts. What if we contracted with Thompson Customer Solutions to handle our most demanding clients? You'd maintain your independence while helping us solve our reputation crisis. What would Marcus think about that arrangement? Marcus won't be involved in the decision. This would come directly from corporate. I pretended to consider the offer, but my mind was already working through the implications. A corporate contract would provide steady revenue while allowing me to maintain my other clients. It would also give me leverage in future negotiations. I'll need to see the terms in writing, and I'll want a guarantee that none of your managers can terminate the contract without corporate approval. Done. And I want Tyler's termination to be public knowledge within the company. Your employees need to understand that nepotism has consequences. Jennifer hesitated. That's a more sensitive request. It's not negotiable. Your people have watched Marcus fire a top performer to make room for his unqualified nephew. If there are no visible consequences, you'll lose credibility permanently. You're right. I'll make sure the message is clear. We shook hands on the basic framework. Jennifer promised to have legal draft a formal proposal within the week. As I drove home, I reflected on how much had changed. 3 months ago, I was a loyal employee who believed hard work and good performance were enough. Now I was a business owner negotiating with my former employer as an equal. Marcus had done me a favor by firing me. He'd forced me to discover strengths I never knew I had. The formal contract arrived exactly 1 week later. The terms were even better than I'd expected. Pinnacle would pay Thompson Customer Solutions to handle their top-tier accounts, with performance bonuses tied to client satisfaction scores. I signed it immediately. But the real satisfaction came 2 days later when Rita called with the final update. Alex, you're going to love this. Marcus cleaned out his office this morning. Corporate transfer, effective immediately. Where's he going? Some tiny branch office in North Dakota. Basically, corporate Siberia. Rita was practically giggling. And get this, Tyler was escorted out by security yesterday. Jennifer Walsh personally explained to the entire staff that nepotism violates company policy. How did people react? Standing ovation. I'm not kidding. The whole customer service department applauded when she finished talking. And how are you feeling about the consulting arrangement? Excited. We get to work with you again without having to deal with incompetent management. It's the best of both worlds. That evening, Emma and I celebrated with dinner at our favorite restaurant, the same place we'd gone 8 years ago when I first got hired at Pinnacle Solutions. So what's next? She asked over dessert. Growth. I've got 3 more companies interested in consulting contracts, and Jennifer mentioned that other Pinnacle regions are having similar service quality issues. Think you'll expand beyond customer service? Maybe. I've been thinking about business process optimization, help companies build better systems instead of just fixing problems after they occur. Emma raised her wine glass. To Alex Thompson, business owner. To second chances and new beginnings. We clinked glasses as the sun set outside the restaurant windows. In the distance, I could see the Pinnacle Solutions building where my old career had ended and my new life had begun. Marcus Hartwell had fired me to make room for his nephew. He'd thought loyalty and relationships were weaknesses he could exploit. Instead, he'd discovered they were the foundation of everything valuable in business. His clients had followed me because trust isn't transferable. His employees had lost respect for him because fairness matters more than politics. His corporate bosses had removed him because results speak louder than excuses. In trying to destroy my career, Marcus had accidentally taught me the most important lesson of my professional life. Sometimes the worst thing that happens to you is actually the best thing that could have happened. I'd started that Tuesday morning as Alex Thompson, customer service representative. I'd ended it as Alex Thompson, entrepreneur. The difference was everything. 6 months later, Thompson Customer Solutions had 20 employees and contracts with 12 major companies. We'd become the premier customer service consultancy in the region, built on the same principles that had made me successful at Pinnacle: relationships, competence, and genuine care for client success. Marcus Hartwell had given me the greatest gift of my career by firing me. He'd forced me to bet on myself instead of relying on corporate security, and I'd won that bet completely. The 99% satisfaction rate that hadn't been enough to save my job had become the foundation of my own company's reputation. The client relationships Marcus had thought he could transfer to his nephew had become the cornerstone of my independence. Justice had been served not through revenge, but through excellence. The best response to unfair treatment wasn't anger or retaliation. It was proving them wrong by succeeding beyond their ability to touch you. Marcus had fired me on a Tuesday afternoon in a sterile corporate office. I'd built an empire on the relationships he'd thrown away. Sometimes the end is just the beginning wearing a disguise.